Hi guys, it's Caroline from newhorizoncoaching.com.au, career coach and job search strategist. So basically, I help anyone who needs help with their resume, needs interview training or negotiation need to master negotiation techniques, anything from net building network strategies to full on job search strategies. And today, somebody asked me a very clever question. They said, if you would lose your job today, what would you do from a job strategy point of view? And you have to imagine that you don't have that many connections, and that you actually um, are looking straight away for an opportunity. What would you do? And it got me thinking, and I said, like, okay, there are a couple of strategies, and I talked that through with this person. And then afterwards, I was thinking, like, okay, I better write these down, make a little brief video for you guys, so you guys can actually see what I would do. And because basically, those strategies are some of my most effective job search strategies to, and I know I can guarantee you they will double, if not triple, your interviews if done well. So it's pretty exciting stuff, right? All right. So it's quite warm here in Sydney, so I have the window open. So I don't hope there is not too much background noise. All right. So first of all, it's leveraging your LinkedIn connections. So even if you don't have an active presence on LinkedIn and you want to use LinkedIn to find a job, there are very clever ways you can do and use your LinkedIn network. For example, so the first thing I would do is join relevant groups. And I don't mean groups where, that you can say like other job seekers are hanging out. No, I mean groups that where you know that your hiring manager hangs out. So, for example, if I'm a marketing manager, I might join the group for CMOs, so Chief Marketing Officers, for those who are not marketing in marketing. So those are the groups that I would join. And when you join a group, that actually means that you have access to that network of connections. So basically, you don't have to have a broad network to be able to tap into a really extensive network then. So that's the first thing. Second thing I would do is actually look at the companies that I think I would be perfectly suited to. So I'm going to give you an example. I used to work for PepsiCo, and I want to work for Coca-Cola. Now, instead of really looking at my connections in my immediate circle and in my immediate network, I'm going to look outside who is connected with them that works at Coca-Cola, which actually broadens again the circle. And then I would actually say, okay, I have to do a little bit of research at this stage. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use LinkedIn, the advanced search, to look up a contact's name, and you're going to say, okay, if I work in Coca-Cola as a recruiter, who would I report into? The HR manager. Okay, who is the HR at Coca-Cola? You type that into LinkedIn, you come up with the name, and there, bang, you have it. So the next step you're going to do is you're going to ask the person that you're connected to if they know that person personally. And they might say yes or no. It doesn't really matter, but it gives you ammunition to actually reach out to that person, to the HR director, and say like, hey, I'm actually exploring the market, the job market at the moment, and my contact or my colleague or my ex-colleague or my friend is working for you guys and speaks very highly of your company culture. And I wanted to actually explore if there would be any opportunities now or in the future for me to work with your company. Now, what you're doing by doing this is first you refer somebody that works in the same organization, so it's a referral. So that whether that person they know each other or not, it doesn't matter. It just like it really lifts up the way that people are going to respond to your answer. Like if I don't know you and you text me out of the blue or send me an email out of the blue, then I'm going to look at your email very differently than if you mention, I know Sarah that works at your organization. She speaks very highly of the company culture and blah blah. I'm going to look very differently at it because they're two different ways of approach. So that's how I would leverage LinkedIn and the connections, and specifically the second degree connection. So it's not always a matter of speech of who you are immediately connected with. It's also who you're connected with in a second degree, if you know what I mean. All right. So the second strategy that I would really get together is my story. Like most people that are job searching, they just list things that they can do, and they just say, I have this many years experience, I can do this, I can do that, I've had these responsibilities, I've worked with the director, but they don't really package their story. So they don't have an in marketing you call it an elevator pitch, one of those pitches that in 90 seconds you can tell who you are, what your added value is, who you worked with, why a company should hire you. And it's not something you can wing and just say, hey, I am Caroline, I'm a career coach. No, it's something you really need to craft and really think about, like, how am I going to put together my story? What is my added value? And the key to this is, because this is an awesome piece of content you're creating, you put that piece of content on your resume, you put it on your LinkedIn profile, and it is the answer to the question, like, tell me about yourself in an interview. So you use that in three places, and it's that consistency that really like sets you apart from your competition. So it's really important to get your story right and to get your elevator pitch. So it's not about you, it's about what problem you can solve with your skills and what your talent is, what your strengths are, and how you can package that up into your personal brand. As you can tell, probably, I'm very, very passionate about that, because if you get that right, that's the foundation. Everything falls into place. So that's the second strategy that I would do, is get my story right. Because if I get my story right, then I can use it on my resume, then I can use it on my LinkedIn, and I can use it in a cover letter, I can use it in interviews, and all my resume material, or my marketing material. And when I say my marketing material, it's your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, anything how you brand yourself and go out to the world. That is your marketing material, because you're selling brand you. And basically that will set you apart. It's your collateral, basically, and it has to have a very powerful message, because I know when I send it out that I will get callbacks, because my story matches up to what problem I can solve, the added value I can add to an organization. When people check out my LinkedIn page, my LinkedIn profile, they see it's consistent. And when people invite me for an interview, again, they have that consistency, that consistent feel of what I'm actually telling them. So basically, that's why that's my second strategy, is get my story right and making sure that when it's read by the hiring manager or by an HR, it resonates, and they are so excited then to actually pull me in for an interview. So the third strategy is to be proactive. And everybody's saying like, oh, you have to be proactive in your job strategy. But what does that actually mean, being proactive? Like, it's so easy to say like, oh, you have to be, but what do you have to do? So I thought to actually talk you through the process. So you have two ways of being proactive, and one way is basically you have your target companies, and when the easiest and simplest way to get your list of target companies together is you look at the companies that you have worked at, and you literally look at the competitors, look at the suppliers, look at the partners, and so on, because these companies, that list that you're making is going to love your skill set and your knowledge. They're going to think you're the next best thing that happened to them because the added value is massive. So that's what that's the list that I would first make. And then you actually use LinkedIn to gather information. You put into an advanced search, again, the name of the company, the person that you probably would report into, not their name, their job title. You put current, you put your country in, and you press search, and you see who comes up. Now, when you have a name, you actually reach out to them. You can do that via LinkedIn, sending an email, or you can do that directly to send them a personal email and say to them like, hey, I actually have skills that are very similar, and I'm currently exploring the market, and I wanted to have a confidential chat with yourself to see if you have any opportunities now or maybe in the future. Looking forward to your thoughts. And this is really a proactive way, and you don't have to expect a job out of it straight away, because that is most of the time what blocks people. They have this expectation that everything, if they do it once, then they should have a reply, or they should have like a job out of it. And that's not the reality of it. The reality is that you have to be persistent, that you have to do this over and over, and that you have to establish a network. People who don't have a network, that's the way you actually start to connect with people. You have to start somewhere. Everybody did. So it might be pushing yourself a little bit outside your comfort zone, but believe me, it's worth it if done right. Okay, so next to that, you also have another approach, and that's approach if you, for example, see a company, going to take Coca-Cola again. If you see Coca-Cola advertising, and I'm from PepsiCo, I know like, oh my God, I would be brilliant for this opportunity. And the ad says like, look, join the Coca-Cola team. We're very innovative and ambitious, and this role will be reporting directly into the HR director, blah, blah, blah. What I would do then is actually like plug that into LinkedIn again. LinkedIn is my best friend. Plug that into LinkedIn again and actually see, like, you put Coca-Cola, you put HR director, and you see, you put the country in, and you see who comes up. You have a name. And then you, again, reach out to that person and say, like, look, I've been made aware that you're advertising for a recruiter. I'm quite interested in this position. I've been actually recommended also by my contact, Anna, or Sarah, what did I say? Sarah, who worked for your organization. I was hoping to have a confidential conversation with you before applying, so I can find out a little bit more about the position and about my suitability and understand what you're looking for. So when you do that, you have multiple elements going in your job search. So you're not only relying on hit apply and just like cross fingers or fingers crossed. Always get that wrong. That things will work out and that the person will call you back. You're being more proactive and taking control of your own job search and making a big difference. And that's what needs to happen. I believe, not in all cases, but in most cases, the job market is not more difficult. The job market is different. and you need to have a different approach to actually be successful. So you have to really look at the ways you look at jobs and embrace really that you might have to position yourself different, do your personal branding different. And even if it feels yucky and uncomfortable to talk about yourself and to, because you think like, oh, I'm blowing my own trumpet here, it's things that, okay, you have to get comfortable with, because and there are degrees. Like you have people that go far and are very comfortable talking about themselves and exaggerate even, or you have people that actually just can articulate clearly what they do and the value they can bring to an organization. And that is basically what most people need to do, is really being able to articulate what they can bring to the table and the value they can add. So my 3 most efficient and effective job search strategies are, to summarize: first, leverage LinkedIn connections and the power of your second degree connections. So not only your immediate circle, but also the broader circle. 2 is getting your story right, your elevator page that you'll use on your resume, your LinkedIn profile, that you will use like when people ask you in an interview, like, tell me about yourself, that you will use a networking events to being able to convey what you do very clearly, to, that person immediately understands when they can refer you. So your unique value proposition. And third strategy would be to be more proactive, whether it's through putting together a list of targeted companies, or if it's being proactive with jobs that actually are advertised and approaching the hiring managers before you apply online to have a confidential conversation with them. That's it. That's what I would do. And I know it works because I've done it before. So this is it. I hope that this helped. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Send me an email on caroline@newhorizoncoaching.com.au. Ask me the question that you have. I'm more than happy to make a video live like this and to actually come back to you. Or you can actually just like right below this video, don't forget to share this video. It's really good for to reach other people that might be struggling also, because I love advising people on their job search, resume strategies, and even interview strategies. So let me know what you need, and I will give it to you. All right, thank you very much. Bye bye.